Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. In case you have not heard, I'm getting countless messages and whatnot. Obviously, people listen to the podcast. They hear, I lost my father this past week. I can't even say it. I lost my dad. My father's dad. Exactly who he was. And anybody who's been listening to this program for the past 20-something years, anybody who works with our family business, Markowski Investments, anybody who reads my columns. My dad happened to be the editor-in-chief of the Markowski Quarterly. He edited all of my columns over the years, going back to the 1990s when I first started. You know how close we were. I share stories all the time here about growing up, and I guess you're gonna have to bear with me to some degree, because I'll probably be sharing more of those. I will. It's just they're hitting me left, right, and all over the place, and I'm doing the best I can to process everything. I've been told by people out there, you need to take time off, you need to get away. I don't know. I don't think that is necessarily the right thing for me. I've always said that this program, it is some catharsis for me, but it's a conversation with you, and you're my friends. That's how I treat you, like you're my friends, and I guess it's a way for me to talk to you and to share my grief to some degree, and it means a lot. Again, I know I talked about it a little bit this past week on the podcast, and I can't believe. I mean, honestly, it's the messages, the emails, the phone calls, the posts on Facebook, my personal page, and also our fan page as well. I gotta tell everybody, I cannot thank you enough. I can't. I hardly ever post anything on my personal Facebook page. Every week or every day I post whatever, some topics that we're covering on the podcast, on the Watchdog page. Every year, I mean, I put some yearly family photos on the personal page. From time to time, I'll put a proud dad moment up on the Facebook personal page, accomplishment from my kids. But I do have to admit, I do like logging in. I have to admit, I like logging into Facebook to see all the people that I have shared time with throughout my life, people that have influenced me, have impacted me throughout my life. I love to see how they're doing. I've told you this before. I say one of the best things, the greatest things about my job is helping people go out there and succeed and do well. There's nothing makes me happier. It's the same thing. Reason why I like coaching as well. I love to see people's kids grow up and succeed. I love all that stuff. And yes, even the vacation photos. I don't mind that either. And we've talked about here on the social media and I've compared it to the pink slime from Ghostbusters 2 that seemed to flow under New York City and get everybody fighting with one another. Well, not this week. Not this week. I guess I can best describe it as some kind of people ask me how I am, and it feels like I am getting punched by Mike Tyson every 5 minutes or so. Basically, what it feels like. It's like whack. I'm getting smacked. And I'm going to share with you a quote from an ancient Greek playwright, Aeschylus. He wrote that there is no pain so great as the memory of joy in present grief. There is no pain so great as the memory of joy in present grief. Now, I'm not sucking up to my wife and her side of the family, saying that those ancient Greeks were pretty smart. I don't know. I love citing their stuff. Honey, I know modern Greeks are smart too. But I have a confession I have to make. I have to admit that at times I almost feel bloody guilty over feeling absolutely horrible right now. There's an underlying narrative, theme throughout our culture, our news, education, whatever it may be, consider privilege. Who has privilege? Who doesn't have privilege? And I've said, I think I may have said this before on the program, maybe the podcast. I don't know. I've shared this with people. I was the beneficiary of the greatest form of privilege. That's parental privilege. I don't have bad memories of growing up. I just don't. I don't have bad memories. I remember back in the 80s, they had all those teenage angst movies there and the Breakfast Club. And, they're sitting around there and they're complaining about their parents and how tough their life is. And I watched the movie. We all loved the movie, but I'm like, no, I don't get it. Right now, everybody who's been listening to this program for years, how I sub-reference things. I've got, whatever reason it may be, pop culture, movies, television, all of those things, they sit in my head and they pop out from time to time when I'm discussing a story. And I sub-reference often if you're new to the program. Right now, it feels like I've got file cabinets. File cabinets are being tossed and turned over in my mind again and again and again, spilling out countless episodes of laughter and joy. And man, it really hurts. It hurts. My parents were beyond exemplary. And I work very, very hard every day to meet their standard. Now, trying to live up to my dad's standard feels like it's mission impossible. He's a guy that always happy, always a smile on his face, cracking dad jokes all the time. He could find humor in anything. Never, ever in my entire life did I ever hear him say an unkind word about anyone. He had a lightness of being that was so warm. And I sub-reference in my mind, I said, my dad is like a 1950s, 60s version of Ferris Bueller. Everybody loved him. Now, here in the program, in terms of And I've talked about this. I've written about one of my favorite authors, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, and I've talked about the concept of being anti-fragile. And we talk about it in terms of how you want to live your life. We talk about it in terms of money and portfolios. And the concept is basically being fragile is not ideal. Fragility means you're going to break. You're going to break under hardship and stress. The one might consider the opposite of being anti-fragile as being robust or robustness. Basically, and the ability to withstand obstacles, hardship, and stress. One of the neat things that Taleb points out is that robustness is not the opposite of fragility. If you take a rock, and it's getting hit by water repeatedly. Eventually that rock, as robust as it may be, is going to weather and get worn down by water. Take a good hard look at the Grand Canyon. So the true opposite of fragile, it has no antonym in any known language. Anti-fragile is when you take the pain, you take the hardship, you take the stress, and use it to make oneself stronger and better. So I'm going to do. So I'm not going to crater. I'm not going to break. Nor am I going to try to sit here and withstand the pain. I'm going to try to use it. I'm going to use it to try to make myself a stronger, a better man. Again, I cannot thank all of you enough for all of the messages of love and encouragement. I said, whether it be by social media, text, email, phone. Not only it helps me, help lift my spirits and my brothers, but I shared all this and all these condolences and these messages with my mom, who really, really needs it. I thought about this past week, and I woke again. One of those woke up in the middle of the night, and I remember this. I remember thinking of a poem, and first and foremost, I'm going to share with you a poem, and that's a sentence that has never been uttered by me ever in my entire life. I would like to share a poem. I was not a member of the Dead Poets Society. Back in high school and in college, no. We didn't get the football and lacrosse team together and head out in the woods and recite poetry. Just something you didn't do in upstate New York. But here's the poem. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Robert Frost. Remember, this was used in the book and the film. S.E. Hinton, and the movie was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, The Outsiders. And the poem has a couple of meanings. And the first meaning is that we all know this. I've become really aware of it this week. Wonderful things, beautiful things, good things do not last forever. The other is the wonder, the innocence and joy of life in our youth. That was something my dad was able to hold on to the very, very end. That youthful exuberance. Again, I'd like to thank you all so much for everything. And remember, from The Outsiders, stay gold, everyone. Stay gold. God bless you all. And we're going to take a quick break. Again, it's the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Your host, Chris Markowski. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com is our site. Become a part of our family as well. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
song.